Okay, so when you hear the word Ethereum, you probably think of that crypto giant, right? The second biggest name in the game. But what if I told you there's another version? An older, kinda unedited original that's still out there. That's Ethereum Classic. And its story, man, it all kicks off with one single massive dilemma. Just think about this for a second. What happens when you make a huge, catastrophic mistake and there's no undo button? Like, at all. This isn't just some thought experiment. This is the exact question that literally split one of the most important crypto projects right down the middle. So how did we even get to this point? Well, the whole story really kicks off with one single, incredibly dramatic event. An event that forced an entire community to make a choice that felt, well, pretty much impossible. All right, let's rewind to 2016. There was this really revolutionary project built on Ethereum. It was called the DAO. And then it got hacked. And we're talking millions and millions of dollars worth of crypto just gone. Poof. This wasn't some small bug, you guys. This was a full-blown crisis that seriously threatened the entire future of the Ethereum network. Now, everyone agreed it was a total disaster. The real problem? Nobody could agree on how to fix it. And that disagreement? Oh, it wasn't just a heated debate on some forum. Nope. It led to a literal fork in the road for the blockchain itself. And that fork created two completely separate versions of Ethereum that, believe it or not, still exist to this day. So this is exactly where the two paths split. On one side, you had the majority of the community, and this included Ethereum's founders, right? They chose to do what's called a hard fork. The easiest way to think about this is like hitting a giant reset button. They basically wanted to rewind the clock to right before the hack happened, creating a brand new version of history where that theft, well, it never took place. But for some people, that was a huge no-go. A smaller but really passionate group just refused. They argued that the whole point, the very soul of a blockchain, is that it's immutable. It can't be changed, period. To them, intervening, even to fix a massive wrong like this, would set a really dangerous precedent. So they stuck with the original, unaltered chain, hack and all. And that chain, well, that's what became Ethereum Classic. And look, this decision wasn't just a technical one. It was deeply, deeply philosophical. And it all boiled down to this one powerful four-word mantra: code is law. The whole idea here is that whatever the smart contract code allows to happen must be allowed to happen. No exceptions, no takebacks, and absolutely no human intervention. It's a pretty radical vision, right? A system governed purely by automated rules, not by what a group of people decides is right or wrong. So, and this is the crucial point, that whole philosophy didn't just fade away after the split. No way. It became the absolute foundation of what Ethereum Classic is all about. You know, the best way to really get your head around it is like this. Ethereum Classic is trying to combine the best of both worlds. On one hand, you've got the super advanced smart contract tech that Ethereum pioneered, but it wraps all of that in the hardcore, unbending philosophy of Bitcoin. You know, the original don't you dare touch the code crypto. And these beliefs, they're really the bedrock of ETC. First, the code is sacred. It must remain untouched. Second, decentralization has to be absolute. That means no single group can just decide to reverse transactions. And third, human interference? Yeah, that's kept to the barest of bare minimums. It's all about the machine. Now, to make all this happen, to really uphold that philosophy, Ethereum Classic sticks with the original security model, proof of work. If that sounds familiar, it's because it's the same energy-guzzling but super battle-tested system that Bitcoin uses. Now, the main Ethereum chain, they've moved on to a different model to save energy and get faster. But ETC, they're still all in on proof of work because they believe it's the purest, most decentralized way to secure the network. Okay, but here's the thing. This kind of philosophical purity, it comes at a price. Sticking to that unedited original has actually created some very real-world problems and vulnerabilities. I mean, everything in life is a trade-off, right? And that's especially true in tech. For Ethereum Classic, the big trade-off for sticking to its pure philosophy is a constant uphill battle with practical, real-world security. And this brings us to one of the biggest risks for any proof-of-work blockchain, something called a 51% attack. What is that? Well, it's basically a hostile takeover. If one person or one group gets control of more than half of the network's mining power, they can start causing some serious trouble. We're talking rewriting recent transactions, blocking new ones, basically causing total chaos. Now, here's the catch for ETC. Because it's a much smaller network compared to giants like Bitcoin or the new Ethereum, it takes way, way less money and resources to actually pull off a 51% attack. And this isn't just a theory. ETC has actually suffered from these kinds of attacks in the past. It's forced the community to deal with a really tough reality that sometimes being philosophically pure and being practically secure don't always go hand in hand. So, after all that history, the hack, the big split, the security scares, where does that leave Ethereum Classic today? I mean, is there still a place in this crazy crypto world for the immutable original? Well, the market has definitely taken notice over the years. Just look at its 2021 peak. A single ETC token soared to over 111 euros. That's some serious value. It's pretty clear proof that even with all the risks, there's a real hunger out there for a blockchain that promises it will never change. And that really leaves us with the big central question at the heart of this whole saga. You see, Ethereum Classic is like a living experiment in radical commitment. It forces all of us to ask, what do we really value in these systems? Is the principle of a completely unchangeable history more important than having the ability to fix a terrible mistake? To put it another way, is perfect immutability worth the price of imperfect security? Honestly, there's no easy answer here, but it's a debate that is absolutely still shaping the future of this entire space.